I was halfway through my morning coffee when her name lit up on my phone screen. Emily. After a year of silence. For a second I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. The contact photo, the one I never had the heart to delete, was still there. Her smiling on that beach in Portugal, sunlight in her hair before everything fell apart. The message was simple. Can we talk? It's important. I should have ignored it. I told myself I was done with her, that I'd buried everything. The betrayal, the anger, the hollow nights staring at the ceiling. But curiosity has a way of picking at old wounds. Against my better judgment I typed. About what? Her reply came fast. In person. Please. That one word, please, was enough to stir something in me I didn't want to feel again. We met at a small cafe downtown, the same one where we used to have breakfast on Sundays. I don't know if she chose it intentionally, but it felt like walking into a ghost of my past. She was already there when I arrived. Her hands wrapped around a cup of tea she probably hadn't touched. Time had changed her. Not dramatically but subtly. Her face looked tired. Her eyes carried that same mixture of regret and guarded hope I remembered from the last months of our marriage. Hey, she said softly, like she was afraid the word might shatter something between us. Hey. The silence that followed was thick. The kind you could drown in. A year ago, I would have given anything to have her look at me like that, like she still cared. But now, all I could think about was the night I found out. The night everything changed. She'd told me she was working late again. I believed her at least at first. Then I got a text from a mutual friend. A photo from a downtown restaurant. There she was, sitting across from her coworker Nathan, laughing, leaning in close, her hand brushing his. I remember the strange calm that came over me as I stared at that photo. It wasn't anger at first. It was disbelief. The kind that gnaws slowly, refusing to settle. When she came home hours later, smelling faintly of his cologne, I asked her if she'd enjoyed her late shift. The look on her face told me everything. She didn't even deny it. She just sat down, eyes glassy, and whispered, "I'm sorry." That was all. No tears. No explanations. Just sorry. And that was when something inside me, something sacred, snapped. Now, a year later, she was sitting in front of me, twisting the ring on her finger. Not our wedding ring, she'd stopped wearing that long ago, but a small silver band I didn't recognize. "I wasn't sure you'd come," she said. "I almost didn't," I replied. She nodded, taking a deep breath. "I know I'm probably the last person you want to see. But I needed to talk to you before I could move on." "Move on," I echoed, unable to hide the bitterness in my voice. "You moved on before the ink on the divorce papers was dry, Emily." Her eyes flickered with guilt. "That's not fair. Neither was what you did." The words hung between us, sharp as broken glass. She lowered her gaze. "You have every right to hate me, Daniel. I hurt you in ways I can't take back. But I'm not here to make excuses. I need to tell you something." I leaned back, crossing my arms. "Go ahead." She hesitated. I could see the battle behind her eyes. Fear, shame, maybe something deeper. Finally she whispered, "Nathan and we're not together anymore." I almost laughed. What a shock. Her lips trembled. "He left me 3 months ago. Said I wasn't emotionally stable. I wanted to say you deserve it." I wanted to see her squirm the way I did when I packed up the house alone, when I had to explain to my mother why Emily wouldn't be at Christmas. But instead I just sighed. "I'm sorry it ended that way," I said flatly. She looked up, surprised. "You are." "I'm not cruel," I said. "Just tired." For a few minutes, neither of us spoke. The sound of rain started tapping against the cafe window. Steady, rhythmic, like a pulse. Then she leaned forward slightly and said, almost in a whisper, "Do you ever miss us?" That question cut deeper than I expected. Did I miss us? I missed the version of her that held my hand at the airport. The one who cried at sad movies. The one who used to whisper, "Promise me you'll never stop loving me." But that version of Emily died the moment she let another man touch her. I swallowed hard. I miss who we were before I realized I didn't really know you. She closed her eyes, nodding slowly. That's fair. Then she looked at me again, and this time her expression changed. There was something in her gaze I couldn't read. Something uneasy. Daniel, she began, her voice trembling slightly. There's another reason I wanted to see you. My stomach tightened. She reached into her purse and pulled out a small envelope. Her hands shook as she slid it across the table toward me. What's this? I asked. Just read it when you're ready, she said quietly. I frowned, tearing it open. Inside was a single folded sheet of paper, a medical report, and at the top bold letters, DNA test result. My chest went cold. What is this? Her eyes filled with tears. You remember when I found out I was pregnant last year? Before we divorced? I nodded slowly. You told me it wasn't mine. She looked down. I was wrong. The room seemed to spin. What? I didn't know at the time, she said, her voice breaking. I was confused, scared. I thought it was Nathan's. But the test, she gestured to the paper, tears spilling over. It's yours, Daniel. She's yours. For a moment I couldn't breathe. You mean? Our daughter, she whispered. She's yours. The sound around me faded, the clatter of cups, the chatter, even the rain. I just stared at her, my hands trembling, my mind refusing to accept what I was hearing. Daughter. My daughter. All this time, I'd been walking around believing she'd had another man's child. That I was nothing but a fool, a discarded chapter. Why are you telling me this now? Finally managed. Because you deserve to know, she said through quiet sobs. Because she's starting to ask about her father. And I couldn't lie to her anymore. The anger I thought had died long ago flared up again, raw and unfiltered. You let me think she wasn't mine for a year, I said, my voice rising. You let me believe you'd replaced me completely, that you'd built a new life with him. I was scared, she cried. You hated me, Daniel. I didn't know how to tell you. I thought you'd slam the door in my face. I clenched my fists. You're damn right I hated you. I still do some days. She wiped her tears. I know. And I'll carry that forever. But please, don't take it out on her. She's innocent. She's beautiful. She has your eyes. The words broke something in me. I sat there for what felt like hours, staring at the rain sliding down the window, the envelope still in my hand. I wanted to stay angry. It was easier that way. But then an image began forming in my mind. A little girl, smiling, laughing, maybe with my eyes, maybe not. Something in my chest shifted. Her name? I asked quietly. Lily. Course it was. She'd always loved that name. I nodded slowly. How old is she now? 10 months. And you want me to? I'm not asking you to forgive me, she said quickly. Just to meet her. To be part of her life. If you want to. Her voice cracked on the last words. I didn't answer right away. I stood up, walking to the window, watching people hurry past under umbrellas. A year ago, I'd have given anything for a chance to rewrite the past. Now I was standing on the edge of something I couldn't name. Part heartbreak, part hope. Finally I turned to her. I'll need time. She nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. Of course. Take all the time you need. I walked out of the cafe without looking back, the DNA report folded in my coat pocket. The rain had eased to a drizzle. The city looked different. Muted, distant, like I was seeing it through fog. I stopped under an awning, pulling the paper out again. The words blurred through the moisture in my eyes. Probability of paternity. 99.99%. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, staring at a photo I'd taken years ago. The two of us smiling, hands intertwined. A life that no longer existed. And yet, somewhere out there, a piece of that life was still real. Breathing. Growing. My daughter. For the first time in a long time, the weight in my chest didn't feel like pure pain. It was something else. Something almost alive. Emily's betrayal had broken me. But this truth was something new. The past couldn't be undone. But maybe, just maybe, there was a chance to build something different out of the wreckage. The next morning I texted her. When can I meet her? Her reply came almost instantly. Tomorrow. She'll be so happy. I smiled faintly, setting the phone down. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but for the first time in a year, I was ready to find out.